Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hybrid Network and my review on Green Lanterns #1. Now, with a lot of these reviews that we're doing right now, I'm going to be reviewing the first issue here, and then once the full arc is completed, I'll be back and review that as a whole. So, we'll be covering today the first part of Rage Planet, or Red Dawn, or whatever the hell Humphreys wants to call this. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. So going into this, Green Lanterns #1 is really confusing and tries to get a lot of stuff done in a very short amount of time. It only has about 20 pages, so the entire book is basically fitting in as much as you can on a single page. And it's not really detracting from the story in any way. I actually think the story in this one's pretty cool, but so much tries to get done at once, and there's so little context behind it that you're left very confused about certain things. And I can't help but feel that maybe some of this was explained in other Green Lantern books prior to this, but who could read the DCU Green Lantern? Am I right? But, so, in the actual story, it basically plays out like a buddy cop kind of film. Jessica and Simon go to investigate a disturbance on Earth, basically like a foreign alien presence. And what they meet is basically some sort of Red Lantern energy bomb that turns into a held tower thing. It's weird because it all kind of happens all at once. They find some guy that's been like overcome by rage and wants his ring. A whole mob kind of turns angry after that once the police arrive. Then a hell tower is created, and then Argus shows up and tells them to back off, and Jessica basically has to cool down the loose cannon Simon Baz, which it's actually really funny. This book is a lot like the other guys because Simon Baz acts almost exclusively like Mark Wahlberg's character from that movie. It's really bizarre because like there are just moments where he's just yelling and shouting for no reason, and you can't help but just think Marky Mark as a Green Lantern, basically. That happens, and then Atrocitus goes into some big spiel about how the Red Lanterns are dying off, how chaos in the universe will ensue when the Red Lanterns are gone, which, again, I don't know if this was explained in another Green Lanterns book because I'm at a very big loss. Atrocitus basically says that the Red Lanterns are dying, but I don't really have any indication of how. It seems like Atrocitus and Bleeds are the last Red Lanterns, but I just don't know. There's no context for a lot of stuff, and I can't really understand what's happening because stuff just kind of happens at random, it's kind of just thrown at you. So the ending of the book basically has Simon Baz receiving something called Emerald Sight, and he's basically able to see the future, it seems, or basically what I assume is just all times at a present, because he sees, I guess, a future of him dead. He sees another vision of Nazir being overcome with Red Lantern rage. He sees Jessica crying out for help, which I can only assume is the next panel because it has Jessica crying out for help amid a mob of Red Lantern possessed people, I guess. And the very end basically has Atrocitus giving some ominous foreshadowing saying, "One lantern will rise, the other will fall. The Red Dawn is upon us," and the comic ends there. So Green Lanterns isn't a bad issue by any means. It's just one that's really confusing and a lot happens in a very short amount of time. And stuff that happens on some pages seems like they could have happened on other pages to kind of help the story move along at a much more even pace. It starts off very slow when they go to investigate this alien disturbance, and then it all just goes to hell, quite literally, with the Hell Tower springing up, Argus coming in and just basically pushing the Green Lanterns out, big Red Lantern mobs, Atrocitus saying we're dying off. It's just really confusing, and I can't really find any sort of context for it. So overall, I would probably give Green Lanterns a 7 out of 10. It's definitely not a bad read, and it seems like an okay start to a story. I just hope that in the future, Humphreys takes his time with this story a little bit more, because this one felt really just sort of jam-packed with all sorts of different things happening, and I really couldn't get my bearings half the time. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this review. Thank you so much for watching, and go ahead and subscribe to the Hybrid Network to see more of our original content, podcast, reviews, and discussion topics as they come out. But thanks, guys, for watching, and have a good one. Peace.